Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dice Tower. I'm Zee Garcia.
And I'm Camilla.
Today we're taking a look at the latest from Pencil First. This is Sunrise at the Studio. And this is in the same line as all of these sort of cozy games that they've been coming out with. Think Floriferous, Herbaceous, Sunset Over Mountains. Delicious. In Dungeon. No, I'm kidding. Delicious in Dungeon is a different thing. Anyway, so it's another one of those games. They tend to be simple to deal with. They tend to have a little bit of drafting, and they have a cute theme represented with nice illustrations. Which of those things are real in this case? Well, let me show you how the game works first, and then we'll talk our thoughts. Here we go. To set up the game, each player is going to get a studio mat like this one in whatever color they choose. They're going to get 15 of these resource tokens, 3 of the large squares and 3 of the small squares. And they are going to get a starting project as well, randomly, and then they are set up and good to go. We've also got here in the center some other things that are ready for all the players. The wastebasket, coffee cup assigned at the end of the game, some randomly chosen in-game goals you're trying to achieve. This will track the days you are playing. You play over 3 days, each one 3 rounds, so 9 rounds in the game. And then we've also got here some available projects for when the players need to replenish that. We've got over here the cards that players will be drafting, and this is some little bonus cards that they may choose to take. So to set up the game, we are going to shuffle these up, and everybody gets 12 from here. That stack of 12 goes below their board, and then we are all going to kick it off. I'll talk you through the various steps of the turn. Player aids are also available, which is wonderful, so I'll use this to take you down the line here. So the very first thing is we are all going to draw 4 cards from our stack of 12. These are going to show you the various things you might utilize to complete the projects you're working on. That's on the back over here. So there are the resources. It's the type of thing, the different clays, the glaze, and then the kiln that you would fire this in. And then there's also the projects fall into various categories based on the symbol behind this number right here. In this case, it's a plate. All right. There's also a final scoring down here. So I'm going to take a look at these, and I am going to select which of the 3 ways to work I'm going to choose for this turn. I can do efficient, measured, or wasteful. And then I'm going to take the token and cover that thing. Basically, here's what this means. If I do the first one over here, which is efficient, I'm going to keep 3 of these cards, and I'm going to pass 1 to the player on my left and put it on their play mat just like this. So in fact, I'll put that there, and I would do that, okay? And then I'm going to cover that up. If I choose the second one, I'm going to keep 2 cards for myself, and I would pass 1 to that neighbor, pass 1 to that neighbor. And if I choose this one, I only keep 1. I pass 1 to the right neighbor and discard the last 2. The trick is, after I choose one of these, and then resolve all the cards I chose or was passed, I'm going to draw another 4, and I'll have to pick one of the ones I haven't picked yet. And then I'll have to pick the last one for the final 4 cards, hence 12 cards. That is one day. Then we remove this. We'll shuffle up this entire stack of cards, and then we each get 12 again. That's the general flow of the game, okay? So that is divvying up the cards. Once we're done divvying up the cards, so 1/3 of a day, then we're all going to simultaneously deal with these cards. So let's say I have these 3 here. Any card that I can utilize, I may do so. This is a type of glaze, and it's on this project right here, so I can choose to cover that up like this. Any card I utilize, I throw in the wastebasket, okay? This one over here, I can use one type of clay or the other, and that's right there on my project, so fantastic. I will cover that up too, and this is now done. And then this is anything. And that's fantastic because I can use it for the missing kiln over here. I will do that as well. I've now completed that project. Now, if I didn't complete the project, it would just stick around. And anything I cannot use at all, say for example, it's this card that I chose or was passed, well, I can't do anything with that. Instead, I would put a token right here, one of my resources, And here, 2 to 1 become anything, okay? And I would discard that card. Same thing. So these could just hang out until I've got 2, and I can discard them for 1 of anything. Basically the same thing that this card does. Same symbol. But I do have it. So I am done with this one. And once everybody's done utilizing all the cards, this area here is basically clear and everything is in the wastebasket. Then I would announce, hey, I completed a project. If anybody else did also, the turn order is this number right here from lowest to highest. I'm going to finish that. I clear this off. I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to set it over here in my completed projects area, and then I trigger an ability based on completing a project. So I can do one of a couple of different things. I can grab 2 new projects from over here. That's the first thing. I can choose to take one project and take one of these bonus cards. Or I can choose to draw 3 of these bonus cards and keep one of them. Now the trick is I always have to be working on something. So I cannot choose to do 3 of these and keep one right now because I wouldn't be working on anything. So perhaps I'll go over here and say, well, I'm going to work on that and maybe I'll grab one of these. Okay, and then we'll replenish this after that. This is a little special ability, end game. I'm going to get some victory points if I complete these things. Fantastic. I would just keep that hidden. And there are going to be various bonuses in here. So now I'm working on something new. Every time I complete a project, I'm also going to check if I complete any of these up here, these sort of studio goals. And if I'm the first one to do it, I'll use one of the small tokens and place that right there, get some victory points. Anybody who does it after that will take the second spot for fewer victory points. And it's sort of set collecting special, combinations I'm trying to complete. Once the second day or the first day is fully over, after 3 rounds of drafting and utilizing those things, we go to the second, then we go to the third. And then at the end of the game, we're going to do a little end game scoring. Any incomplete project is -1 point, but everything on it is 1 point. You are also going to assign the coffee cup over here to whoever has the most coffee beans, shown right here in some of the projects. That's worth 3 victory points. And then, of course, you've got these bonuses as well. Whoever has the most victory points at the end of the game is going to be the winner. The first thing I'll say about this one, besides the obvious, it looks good and I like the artwork and the theme is cute, is that there's more of a sprawling game in here than many of the other ones in the same line. If you play this with, especially with a higher player count, you play this with 4, you're going to take up some table space.
Right, because you have the drafting thing that you're doing, but you also, your own player space grows as the game goes, as you have projects you're working on and complete them, things like that.
Yeah. So this is not a game, this is a game that belies the box size it comes in, is what I mean. This is a game that on your shelf is going to take a little bit of space, but once you bring it out and play, it feels like a bigger game while you're playing.
Yeah, if you're familiar, I think like with Floriferous, it's closer to that size, maybe just a little bit more than it is to like Herbaceous.
Right. So in this game, the big mechanism at its core here is drafting, I would say.
Yes.
And the way it does drafting is kind of tricky. It's a little bit like many of the other Steve Finn games. He sort of his signature move, if you would, is what he did in Biblios as a designer. The idea of you draw a thing, you decide where it goes in one of 3 places. You keep it, bid, make it available. Once you've done that, you draw another one, and this one has to go in a different place than you already picked. So it's sort of like delayed information with a little push your luck.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. He kind of does the same thing here again, but it's sort of a few layers more complicated where you're drawing 4, and some you keep, some you pass, some you discard. Okay, cool. Do it again. 4, can't do the thing you did.
Yeah.
I like the way it works out. I enjoy that. It still gives you that same feeling you get from Biblios, in which at some point you're going to keep 3. Mm-hmm. Do I keep 3 of these 4, or am I going to get a better combination? It's less punishing than the way Biblios does it, because it's more like little pieces of stuff.
Okay.
What did you think about that mechanism?
Yeah, I can't speak to Biblios. I've not played that one, but I enjoyed that part. I think that is kind of the big hook that you're going to find in this game is that drafting part. I think it's absolutely necessary to use the tokens it comes with and mark off which of the three choices you did, because if you don't, you're going to be too in and be like, whoops, my bad. I don't know which one I've done. Sure. You know, I think it brings an interesting, like you said, the push your luck element to it. It definitely gives a little bit of attention to that drafting, you know, makes you care about what other people, what you want to take. Do I want to take 3? But also, do I want to give you anything this round?
And you can quickly glance over to the person on your right or your left and be like, okay, what kind of kilns do you have?
You need
this one's not going to help? Cool, you're going to have it.
Or it doesn't matter. I can give you anything I want. Therefore, you know, I'll give you this one because it's a kiln and not a either or, you know, one of those mixed resources, something like that. So I think that really brings an excitement to the drafting mechanism that I really enjoy.
And then I like that once that's done, you can just sort of take care of your own cards. A cube here, discard that. A cube here, discard that. Oh, this is nothing. Okay, so I put a cube in the middle. Two of those will become one of anything. Yeah. Cool. Once that's done, I also like that the projects you're working on are numbered. So that that's very clean. It's like, okay, I finished something. You too, what's the number on yours? Okay, you go first. That's great. I love it. There's no reason that should not be that clean, and they nailed it.
And I think it needs to be that clean because swinginess of the game is you are going to have the 4 available to choose from, right? And sometimes you want a lower number so that you're going earlier because you want something out there, and sometimes you're like, oof, please, anybody else go first so that you can flush that out a little bit. So there have been games where I delay completing something because I know I don't want anything out there, and I'm completing number 17. You know, so I'm wanting to kind of delay it a little bit. But it's such a short game, you can't delay it long. So again, just kind of that layers of decision.
Yeah.
And kind of push your luck and feeling out the table in the game and knowing when to do which drafting, when to complete a project. Not just can I complete a project, but when to complete it.
Right.
When to take new projects or some of those bonus cards instead.
Right.
You know, I think, again, layers of decision.
Speaking of those bonus cards, which are called advantage cards, I think they're okay. I don't think they're the most interesting part of the game. I like some of them. I know you were not a fan of the ones that are like side projects.
Yes, I don't like those.
You know, they sort of, I don't know, you feel like you're not really getting a thing. It's more like, hey, here's more work.
Right, it's more work, and I think the interesting part of it is you can be going towards them because somebody might be giving you a type of clay that they can't see in your tableau. They look in your tableau, they're like, ooh, you don't need this, therefore I'm going to give you that. Little do they know you have this card in your hand that then you can play down. So it does make it beneficial. So I like the idea more than the actual implementation. They are simpler to complete, but not so simple that it really feels like, haha, I got you. It feels like you said, one more project that I might not get done that then will hurt me at some point.
And it doesn't penalize you. Like, it's not a negative victory point like they are normally. But I drew a card. I wasted drawing a card on that. You know what I mean? It could have been... It could have been a coffee bean, and that might give me points. It could have been 2 cubes in my workstation. That's a cube, you know. Anyway,
it could have just been a point, and I would have been happier with it been a project. And yes, the points I think skew a little bit higher on those for how many ingredients they take to complete. But it's still just not enough to really ever feel good. So I found myself frustrated when, if I'm drawing 3 and keeping 1, I wasted a whole completion action on that, and they're all 3 projects, and I'm like, I don't want this. I want anything other than this.
We're talking about showpieces, by the way, specifically what they are called. Yeah. We don't remember that stuff. Yeah. As far as the rest of gameplay, and this is a game I like, okay? Don't get me wrong. I mean, I enjoy the game generally. I will say, I think a lot of the parts in this game do feel... rudimentary is not the right word, but they feel kind of by the numbers. They feel tried and true. They feel like there's not a lot of stretching that's happening here. There's set collecting. And there is the usual suspects of, oh yeah, at the beginning of the game, you flip over 3 projects. The first person to complete one gets 4 points. Everybody else who does it later gets 2. What are they? You know, 3 glaze of the same kind. 4 glaze of different kind, like the usual suspects. If you've been playing games even for a moderate amount of time, this is going to feel thematically, but mechanically very familiar. Very like, oh yeah, bonuses in game, bonuses at the end of the game. I got it. You know what I mean?
And that's a tough line to walk, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when is it like, it feels like everything else, and when is it like, oh, these are comfortable mechanisms?
Yeah.
And I think I fall more in that camp where I'm like, this is instantly comfortable because it's not throwing anything at me that's like, whoa, this is crazy, something brand new, other than the drafting. So I think if it didn't have that specific drafting twist, you know, where you have the 3 different ways you can draft, then it would feel like everything else.
Sure.
But I think that's just enough to set it apart and keep it engaging.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you that. I do wish it was a little, maybe slightly, a little more pizzazz, a little less sort of like worn-in feeling. But again, depending on how I feel, that might just kind of come across as cozy, which it kind of is cozy. And I love the theme here and the feel, this sunrise at the studio thing. That's nice.
Yeah.
You know, it just feels like, I feel like playing a little sunrise, you know, today. And that can just be cozy. I will say the game does a really good job of using its iconography, its various areas, its symbology to really do a good job of delivering how to play, delivering help and aid wherever you look. You're like, what happens if I put a cube here? Oh, it says it right there. 2 cubes become 1 of anything. Cool.
Yeah.
What happens when I complete a project? Oh, it says it right here. Draw 2 new projects, or draw 1 and 1, or draw 3 of these things. Great.
Well, like I said, just the components here where you have your player color and you're marking off which of the 3 drafting. So that's doing 2 things. It's telling you that option's not available anymore this round. It's also telling you that was your first of 3 drafts for this round, you know, and so it's a lot of built-in iconography, built-in componentry that just helps the gameplay be smooth.
Yeah, and I like that everybody's dealt all 12 cards at the beginning of the day.
Yeah.
That speeds up the game, you know. So yeah, I enjoy this one. I'm going to go ahead and come down at this one. It's comfortable. It is not revolutionary. It's a game I'm happy to play. It's a game I definitely would teach people if I believe them to be the kind of gamer player who enjoys sort of the cozier side of our hobby. I'm going to come down at a 7 on this one. I like it. I'm happy to play with you. Is it something that sticks in my head? Is it something I find myself continually thinking about? Is it one of the best games of the year? No, I don't think so. But what it sets out to do, what I think and what I'm extrapolating that it sets out to do, it really does do well. There's no faux pas here. There's no part that I'm like, ooh, they should have done that. And that's nice to see a game that isn't reaching necessarily, but I'm also not pointing at any one part and going, oh, they should have cut that. No.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that in it. So for me, nice, solid, 7 out of 10.
I'm coming a little higher to 7.5, and I agree with everything you've said, except for I do find myself thinking about the game.
Okay.
And I think this is one that is growing on me in that cozy category, because when I play, it's very smooth, it's very pleasing, it's very nice, and I'm like, oh, that was good, and then I put it away, and the next day I'm like, you know what sounds good again? Let's just sunrise at the studio again. So it is one that I think I find myself reaching for more and more because it's a little bit unique with the drafting, which that is one of my favorite mechanisms is drafting. So it also speaks to me in that realm as well. And when I just want cozy drafting, that's a little bit more than a card game. I find myself reaching for this. I really wish those advancement cards, what are the bonus cards again? I can't remember the terminology. I wish that was more interesting, engaging. And that's really what holds this back for me. Again, comparing it to others in this line to like the Floriferous level. You know,
Floriferous, I'll agree with you here. I think Floriferous is the best game that Pencil First has put out in this kind of box, okay? But I will say I've cooled quite a bit on Herbaceous over time because Herbaceous is just too little game.
It's so basic. Yeah.
I think this is my second favorite.
I'm right there with you. I still have such a tender spot for Herbaceous, but this is right there with it in a second place, and I will find myself having room on my shelf for both.
Yeah.
You know, Floriferous and this one. So for me, it's a 7.5 because I keep reaching it for it. And if you're looking for that comfortable, cozy game that maybe does a little bit different but not stretches you too much, I think this is a great pull.
There you go, folks. That is Sunrise at the Studio, and that is a seal of approval from us here at the Dice Tower. Thank you very much for tuning in and checking this one out with us. My name is Zee.
And I'm Camilla.
And we are gonna go to sunset at the Clay Factory.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video from the Dice Tower. Hey, you want to learn more about us, communicate with us? We have a Facebook group, we have a Discord channel, lots of different ways to get involved with the Dice Tower. You can find that in our Linktree link below. So just click that, it will take you and you can communicate with us on Facebook, join our Facebook groups. There's lots of cool things that you can find and become part of the Dice Tower. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Vasel.